Okay, so welcome back. And now in this video, we're going to do a couple of examples. The first one, we're going to convert radians to degrees. And then in the second example, we're going to practice going from degrees in minutes, degrees, minutes, seconds, what we call DMS, right? So going from degrees, minutes, seconds form to a decimal form for degrees. And then the part B, we're going to go from degrees and write it in DMS form, okay? Which means we're going to write it degrees, minutes, and seconds. Okay, so let's start with this example. So all we're going to do is we're going to convert from radians to degrees. So again, we're going to use our unit ratio that we have. So how do we convert from radians to degrees? We understand that, how many radians, so we got to figure out how many radians is equal to one revolution of a circle, because we already know that 360 degrees is equal to one revolution. Well, how many radians does that mean? Well, it turns out that it's 2 pi, okay? So we know that 2 pi equals one revolution, right? But we also know one revolution also equals 360 degrees. So 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degrees. So there is our unit ratio, okay, or our conversion ratio if you want. So now what do? We're at 1.3 radians, right? And now I've got to go from radians to what? To degrees. So I need degrees on top. So I need to multiply by a ratio where I have degrees on top, radians on the bottom. So guess what? I'm going to use 360 degrees over 2 pi radians. And so the radians cancel. And what do I get? I get 180. I get 1.3 times 360. So I get 1.3 times 360 divided by 2 pi. And I get 74.48 degrees, rounded to the nearest hundredth. So 74.48 degrees. Okay? Now, and let's see. Okay, that's it. Hold on a second. Is that what I want? Okay, yeah, that's it. So now, what if, for this example here, I have degrees and of course the minutes here. Now again, in carpentry we use, means feet, but again, when we're talking about angles, the one apostrophe here, this one tick mark, this prime, if you will, means degrees. If there's 2 of them, like that, then we're dealing with seconds. So we've got degrees, minutes, and seconds. But there's no seconds here, so we've just got degrees, okay? So we want to convert this into degrees in decimal form, right? So we want to get rid of the minutes. So we're going to use the fact that, we got to convert these minutes into degrees. So how do I do that? I take the 53 minutes over 1, and I use a unit ratio. I need a unit ratio that relates degrees and minutes. So I know that every 60 minutes equals 1 degree. So I need degrees on top, right? So 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. So there's my unit ratio. And so of course, the minutes cancel, and I get 53/60ths of a degree. And again, if I just put this in my calculator and divide, I get 0.883. And so this would be equal to approximately 17.88 degrees if I round it to the nearest hundredth. Okay? And that's what they wanted to do. Okay, now, the last one. Now I've got degrees and I want to put it in DMS form. So what do? Well, I take 0.36, so I take the whole number, right? So this is what? This is 154 degrees plus the decimal part, which is 0.36 degrees. Okay, which is equal to, right, so if I take this piece, that's also the same as 36 over 100 degrees, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to convert this to minutes. Okay, how do I convert this to minutes? By using the unit ratio. So I want to multiply this by the unit ratio, the same one. So I want what? But this time I want minutes on top. So 60 minutes equals 1 degree. And so now I've got degrees on top that cancels with degrees on the bottom. And so now what I do is I just multiply, right? So again, I could have done it with the 0.36 here too. Okay, it doesn't matter. So if I take 36 times 60 divided by 100, I get 21.6 exactly. I get 21.6 degrees. So now, if I wanted to round this to the nearest degree, then I would write this as 154 degrees and then 22 minutes. Okay? And I'm done. Now, what if I wanted to go out to seconds? Aha! So let's go one more step. What if I wanted to go out to seconds? So far, I've got 21 minutes, right? So I'd put 21 minutes. Now, I've got this fraction of a minute here. Now, I'm going to transform that into seconds. So I would do the same thing. I would take this decimal, this fraction, it's a fraction of a minute, right? And so what I would do is I would then do the same thing. I would say, okay, well this is 0.6 minutes, right? Over 1. And I'm going to convert this by another conversion, a unit ratio. Because I want to relate minutes to seconds. Well, I know that there are 60 seconds for each minute. See what I did there? Now I've got minutes on top that cancels with minutes on the bottom. I've got seconds on top. And so my unit analysis is good. So now I'm just going to multiply across. This time I'm using the decimal, right? So I did not transform it into a fraction like I did earlier. So now I'm just going to do 0.6 times 60. And I get 36 seconds. And I'm done. Exactly 36 seconds. So there's my answer. So 154.36 degrees is the same as 154 degrees, 21 minutes, 36 seconds. And I'm done. That's all there is to it. Make sure you practice.